You know I'm wearing watches, Will.
Yes.
I was wearing the Apple Watch for a bit. I'm back to the
Polar?
Polar Watch now. I just like a chunkier, I just like a really, like a rugged feeling watch when I slam it into something, not to feel,
It's durable.
I don't know what it is. Gives me a sense of confidence. I told you in the past, I grew up wearing G-Shock watches from Casio, and I feel like every sort of smartwatch I wear, I want it to feel like one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the other benefit of this watch over other smartwatches is battery life, which I don't want to charge the thing all the time. I like having the watch last a little longer than the smartphone. It was a funny experience, actually, with the Apple Watch and the iPhone, because the iPhone this year, the 11 Pro, particularly the Max, but also the regular Pro, had this tremendous battery life. But the watch, on the other hand, added this new always-on feature, which I have to have on a watch. I just, the action of it being a watch is still number one for me, because I have my phone nearby too, but there's something about that activity that I still like to do. So the funny thing about the experience with those products was the phone could last like 2 days in some circumstances, but the watch, forget about it. Sometimes it didn't make it the whole day. And so it was a very bizarre kind of experience that you wouldn't necessarily have expected. Anyhow, I ended up back on this device, and I'm kind of interested in this idea of this potential hybrid smartwatch, not so smartwatch, which is what this is. I'm not getting notifications, but it has the heart rate tracking, it has certain fitness stuff on it. It has the always-on display, but it's nowhere near as vibrant as what you would get out of something like an Apple Watch. Well, it looks like Fossil has heard me, because they have a hybrid customizable e-ink display analog / e-ink smartwatch, the hybrid HR. Why are you laughing?
That's a very particular feature set.
Very strange feature set.
Yeah.
They heard me. They've been listening. Of course, what this gives you is a traditional looking watch, which may or may not be to your taste. I appreciate that. With some hands on it, and the e-ink display almost tricks you into thinking the whole thing is a traditional watch, which I like. Now, you can configure each of those 4 wheels on the e-ink display to display different things. It could be steps, it could be the weather, it could be a date, it could be your heart rate. There's a few different things you can plug in there. Of course, it does have a heart rate monitor on it, so it is smart to a certain degree. Now, beyond just getting the style that you might be looking for, you're getting tremendous battery life. Supposedly, this thing is going to last 2 weeks on a charge.
Oh, wow.
Which to me is crazy compelling. I remember in the early days of smartwatches, I was traveling a lot at the time. And you get to your hotel, you're setting up your chargers. It's just, if you're a watch person like I was my whole life, I'm saying since I was 12 years old, I was wearing a watch. The idea of just taking it off and dropping it somewhere and picking it up and it's ready to go. In fact, I was into watches. I had a Seiko Kinetic with auto relay back in the day, which was actually a watch where your movement was able to power the watch and keep time. And the auto relay was able to remember the last time, even if you had the watch unpowered for a long period. This was a Japanese watch. And so I was into it to a certain degree back in the day. And so for me, it was always a downgrade, this idea of maintaining your watch like a smartphone. And so many people yell at me for this, and they say, you're charging your phone anyways, charge your damn watch. But I take my watch off in a different way than how you take your phone to the charge point. Sometimes my watch comes off. I could take it off over here. I could take it off in the bathroom when I take a shower. I could take the watch off, put it on the coffee table when I get home, and I just don't want to have it on. I'm typing. I don't want to have a watch on next to you. You leave your watch in different places. You don't need it in the same way as a smartphone, and therefore it's not always at your side. I don't really need to. That's me. Look, if you're charged lifestyle, if you're organized, good for you. Great. But for me, this is a compelling package. And I think it might be for some other people, hence them actually putting the thing out. I think it looks pretty good as well. It comes in 42 millimeters as well. I like a chunky watch, so that's kind of nice. It has 3 separate working 22 millimeter straps. It's running its very own OS, so you're not looking at any type of Android Wear or anything like that. Not that it would make any sense because this is this hybrid e-ink real watch scenario. It's available starting today, and the prices vary from $195 to $215. And it's funny because, that looks pretty good right there. Wouldn't you agree? It looks pretty cool, right? Yesterday we were talking about the defunct a smartwatch company. Do you remember it?
Pebble.
And this is kind of like a new iteration of something they were thinking. Theirs never looked like this.
No.
Obviously. But they had an e-ink smartwatch, and it had some of those benefits. It never panned out for them. But then again, their watch never looked like this one. Their watch kind of looked, well, looking back on it, no, the original one with the really chunky bezel. Looking back on it, it looks incredibly antiquated already with the small display. I think the implementation that Fossil did is they're getting closer to the perfect version of that thing. But just keep in mind, it's not a smartwatch like an Apple Watch or an Android Wear. It's a hybrid, hence the name. They're not trying to get away from it. They're letting you know straight up it's a hybrid.